Hello, good afternoon. As people, we all have doubts in ourselves, and this is especially true in my case, as I doubted that I wasn't able to do this speech because I hate public speaking, but love speech club, and I can barely hold a conversation with someone I'm not particularly close to for 7 minutes. We also have doubts in our friends and family, whether it's through their beliefs or their actions, and even our own faith. We're all finite creatures who don't know everything, and we get things wrong. And this possibility can cause us to doubt our beliefs. What's unique about doubt is that everyone has it, not only Christians, which is surprising. Which begs the question, can Christians have doubts, and what should we do when these doubts occur? First off, doubts can be a good thing, as it can cause us to have a much closer look on what we believe and why we believe, most importantly. I've seen it through friends who have gone through a period of suffering in their life where they do not feel the presence of God in that moment and start to have doubts about His existence, which causes them to question how their belief in God is real or not. Which brings another question. Is their belief in God based on what they feel, their emotions and feelings in that moment, or on evidence, the Bible? Our feelings on God's presence can come and go, and I've experienced this myself when I go to SCP for a week, feel God's presence around me, and I carried it through the next week. However, I don't carry it through the rest of the year until SCP comes around. But that doesn't change the fact of the matter. As believers, we have good reasons for God, as we know who He is and what He has done for us. We can stand upon these core principles in times of doubt. And this is because of these principles are based upon evidence and not our changing and volatile feelings and emotions. And we can see this through Scripture. Through John the Baptist, as he sat in prison for his faithfulness to God, he's conflicted with his doubts with Jesus during this time. This is the same John who baptized Jesus and heard the voice from heaven say, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am very pleased." And Jesus' response to John's disciples, which is important to note, is, "And Jesus answered them, 'Go tell John what you hear and see. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk. Lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have good news preached to them,'" which is in Matthew 11:4-5. What Jesus means by the scripture is He doesn't tell John to look into his heart for some subjective feeling inside of him. He doesn't tell him to just ignore his doubts and believe blindly, but instead points out the definite evidence that declare who He is. The blind are seeing, the lame are walking, the deaf are hearing. This tells us that Jesus is saying to John to believe in Him based on the works He's doing. And what we can take away from this is that we can first raise our doubts, to not suppress them, but rather express them to Him. When we ignore our doubts and leave them unanswered, it can drive us to deep despair. Like John, we should articulate our doubts. And we can do this by, secondly, doubting our doubts. We can do this by posing our doubts as a question and search for good reasons, looking for reasons to doubt our doubts. Doubts will come, that's a given. I'm sorry, I'm saying that a lot. But it is not something us Christians should feel the need to fear. We should remember John and raise our doubts, then remember Jesus and doubt them. Thank you.